Hey you guys, it's Sarah here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you've been following me for a long time, you know I do one of these every year to commemorate my next sobriety milestone. So today I'm going to be talking about being 5 years sober. Like, what the hell? Oh my God, 5 years. Holy shit. So if you guys are new here, welcome, hello, and I'm so glad you're here. And if you'd like to hear about what it's like to hit 5 years sober, how my life has changed, the things I've grown and really learned and picked up over this time, then you guys can go ahead and keep on watching this video, but make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you do not miss anything else on my channel and you can continue following with my journey. All right, so I am filming this 2 days before I hit my 5-year anniversary, which is insane. If you are listening on the podcast, I'm filming a podcast as I'm filming this on the video, but where to even start? Oh my God, 5 freaking years. It feels like it has not been 5 years, first of all. I feel like I say this every year. I always say it feels like it's been 5 years, but then it feels like it hasn't been 5 years. Like, the time has passed so quickly, but at the same time, there has been so much growth and change throughout these 5 years that I can't even, like, it's crazy to wrap my head around sometimes. And it's insane to see how much things have changed. And I actually spent some time the other day going through old posts of mine, old videos of mine from 5 years ago, from right before I got sober. And it was just absolutely mind-boggling to see how many changes there have been, how different my life was, how different I look, how different I acted, like how different the way I carried myself, my confidence, like so many things that now looking back, I just realize how much better my life has become. And it's definitely been crazy. It's been a whirlwind, and it's nuts. When I look back from 5 years ago and see how much I've changed, and if you guys follow me and you have watched my YouTube videos, I filmed one, for all of my milestones, and you can watch them in order and see how much I changed throughout the years. But hitting this milestone of 5 years and looking back and being like, okay, like, what do I want to say? What has changed? What is the big thing that came with 5 years? And I can just say, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. And there's so much gratitude that comes with this because of what I've been able to do with it. Yes, my life has gotten so much better. I have, amazing friendships, amazing relationships. I've been able to grow my career when I finally got my shit together and got my life together. I got married. Like, we're trying to start a family. Like, it's insane to see in 5 years how much my life has changed and where it's brought me now. And it's just mind-boggling. Like I said, like, I look back on that person 5 years ago that thought life was great and fun and was, struggling so badly with alcoholism, but not opening her eyes to it and just laughing it all off as a big joke. And this is just a fun lifestyle, when really I was just using alcohol as a numbing tool for years and for so long. And it was so toxic, and it was such a cycle, and it was just, how do I even describe it? Like, there was so much trauma, and there were so many things that had happened in my life, and there were so many things I didn't want to feel or process that I just kept turning to alcohol, turning to alcohol, turning to alcohol. It was like someone hurt me, turn to alcohol. I felt like I wasn't worthy enough, turn to alcohol. He cheated on me, turn to alcohol. It was the greatest and worst numbing tool I discovered in my life. It gave me the ability to block everything out, to become the person I wanted to be, to feel the things I wanted to feel and ignore the things I didn't want to feel and drown them away with the drinking. And I essentially, when I look back at that girl 5 years ago, I see her as a shell. I see her as a shell of a person that wasn't feeling, that wasn't going through normal life things in a normal way. And no addict does. Like, that's the thing. None of us do. And I look back and I see how many toxic cycles I got in, and I see how many times I was, I wanted to cry out for help, but I felt like it would just be easier to drown it back down. Like, I knew I needed help. I knew I wanted to see a therapist. I knew I wanted to get my drinking under control, but it just became so much easier to ignore it and just keep drowning it down and just keep doing the things I had been doing. And the things that I think stand out the most to me now that I'm at 5 years, and now that I think I'm at such a place of healing and acceptance, and I've really owned 1,000% of everything from my past, was how much pain and how much, like, just the negative things in my life, the trauma I experienced, my experiences with sexual assault, rape, all these things that I had allowed myself to just shove down. And I had allowed myself to just, we're not going to deal with it. Life's great. Everything's fine. We're going to live this great life, and everyone's going to think we're happy and perfect, and it's going to be good, and that's it. And I would just keep drinking to get myself to that place and ignore all of those things. And I've talked about it in other videos and other things I've made about how things started to come to the surface once I got sober. And I can honestly say within the past year, I denied my sexual assault experiences for a very long time, and I turned them into something else to make them easier. I turned them into something else to make them something I didn't have to face, and I didn't have to accept, and I didn't have to label it as what it was, and I didn't have to fully accept the fact that it happened to me. And by doing that, not only was I not able to heal and grow and get past it in my sobriety, but I wasn't able to heal myself, and I wasn't able to be in a healthy relationship in a lot of ways, and I wasn't able to feel certain ways about myself until I did the healing, gotten the full acceptance of all the things that had happened. And I can tell you guys, you know, I do live events, I write books, I do speaking events now, and I talked publicly about my sexual assault and rape experience for the first time this past year. Between 4 and 5 years sober, for the first time ever, I spoke about it, and it was terrifying. And it was that old, you know, not that I considered drinking, but it was that old, we don't want to feel this, we don't want to accept this, we don't want to accept this label that this is what happened to us, that this is who we are, that this dictated who we were for so long. And all of those things came up again, 1,000%. And finally just owning it and accepting it and being able to heal it and speaking about it to groups of women and watching them cry and hearing that things happen to them similar. Like, it was 1,000 pounds came off my shoulder this last year of sobriety that I didn't even know were still there. Like, I thought I had healed. I thought I had gotten through so much. And I've said it before, like, this journey's never done. We're never done. I'm 5 years sober. This is it. I'm good now. Like, this is a constant journey, and there are constantly things coming up that I have to feel and process and face. And it's always going to be a part of my life. And I think that's something that a lot of people just see, that I'm 5 years sober and I'm speaking and I'm talking and I'm writing books and I'm doing all these things, and they think like, oh, she's just good, she's just got it. And I always like to like humanize myself and explain, like, I still have my rough points, I still have my moments, I still feel triggered. Processing that, all of the things that happened to me within this last year and finally letting them out and owning them 1,000% was freaking hard. And it was extremely triggering. And it did bring on experiences with depression bouts or anxiety that I felt. And it's not ever done, is what the thing I really want to get across. It's not ever done. I'm never going to be at a finish line. I'm never going to be hit a point in sobriety where I'm like, okay, that's just it. Like, that's not how it happens. And I love sharing these milestones every year, because not only do I like to update you guys, do I like to give you the progress, the growth. I love doing this so much. And I mentioned it earlier because I realized in these 5 years what I've been able to do so far by speaking up and by speaking out and by sharing my experiences, the things I feel, how I deal with them, by writing my books, by writing any sobriety book, by writing, you know, blog posts, by writing little posts on Instagram and sharing old photos of me from when I was old, you know, me and drunk and all of those things. Like, I've realized how much I've been able to do because of what I went through. And I've said it a million times, you couldn't pay me to go back and not have that experience. You couldn't pay me to not have my struggles with alcohol, because it gave me my purpose and my gift, and it gave me everything I'm doing now. And within this last year, I've really stepped up. I've really stepped out. I started doing events. I started speaking. I really got my message out in more ways, and I connected it with more people. And I can tell you guys, like, realizing the impact that sharing your story can have has been one of the biggest things that keeps me going and doing what I'm doing and chasing after bigger things. Knowing that people will find my YouTube video or find my podcast or find my book randomly on Amazon, and getting those random messages from people being like, oh my God, I found your 1 year sober video. Oh my God, I found your 30-day sober video of why you stopped drinking. And then I came and found you and realized you're almost 5 years sober. Like, it's just crazy. And I will say again and again, that is the thing I am the most thankful for. So grateful for, to be able to do this, to be able to spread this word to people, to be able to show up year after year and show people on YouTube, on wherever they're listening to this, that, hey, like, look, I'm here. I'm still doing it. I'm still working at it. I'm still human. I'm still just like you. And I'm still fucking putting in the work, and I'm still committed, and I'm still being, you know, the best person I can be in my sobriety. And I'm just always committed to moving forward and upward and growing and becoming even more strong in my sobriety and learning new things in my sobriety that I can share with others to inspire them, to show them that there's hope. And I think that's just the coolest thing, is that so many people have found the videos, the books, the things, and then they start following me, and it just becomes like, let me take you on this ride with me. Let me take you on this journey with me, especially for people that are also in sobriety, whether they're new to sobriety, whether they're established in sobriety, whether they're thinking they might need to get sober. I love being that person for people, to be like, look, I'm doing this, and look at how I've been able to change my life. Look at how amazing I've been able to make things, and you can do this too. Like, I'm no one special. I know, like, I'm a special person, like, I love myself, but like, I did not have anything given to me that wouldn't be given to you guys. Like, everything I've done and worked for has been because I have gone through it, and I have done the work, and I have put myself out there, and every single one of you is capable of that as well. And I always hope these messages reach the people that need to hear them. I always hope that somebody stumbles on this that maybe is in the first stages of sobriety and is struggling and maybe needs that inspiration. And, you know, maybe hearing someone talk about being 5 years sober and then hearing how they struggle still too, you know, gives them hope that it's not, if you're having a hard time, if you're struggling, it's not wrong. It's not like you're not going to make it. Like, you can still be successful, and you can still be sobriety. You can still be sober, and you can still change your life. And I just always hope to be that light and that beacon for people, to show them the light at the end of the tunnel is there. Like, here we go. I'm showing you it. Look, like, you guys, like, open your eyes, because you can get to this too. And I feel like I always say something similar when I talk about this on every milestone, but like, I always am at a point where I'm like, I don't see how it could get better than this. Like, I feel like this is the best it could get, and then it keeps getting better. Like, I keep having those moments and those experiences in my life where I stop and think, like, how could it be better than this? And it just keeps showing up and surprising me over and over again, how much better my life continues to get sober. And it takes away, like, because people always ask, are you going to drink again? And honestly, like, having that feeling, I always say, like, I can't predict the future. Never say never. Like, who knows what the hell will happen? But whenever I'm faced with that thought or that question or that trigger or that temptation, I always go back to looking at how much my life has changed, and looking to where I've gotten, and looking to how amazing everything is, and asking myself, why do I even need it? Why would I even need it? What am I missing because I can't drink? Nothing. if anything, I have gained. I've lost things for sure, but I have gained so much more. And I can tell you guys, like, coming into 5 years is just a mind-boggling feeling because I am so proud. This time of year is always very strange for me, a very weird time to navigate because I'm faced every year with that day that I almost lost my life. I'm faced with that day every year that I was on my way to where I was going. I was pre-gaming in the car. I was getting too drunk again. I was going to take those pills. Every year I go back to that place of like, this is the day that this would have been it. Like, I would be gone. Everything for the next 5 years, everything I've just experienced would have never happened. I would have missed out on all of this. I have those moments where sometimes it's in nature. Sometimes I'm seeing something beautiful. Sometimes I'm having an experience, like a huge accomplishment, like I've thrown an event, like I'm speaking, like I have a new book out, like something just big is happening, something impactful, or even like just being in a beautiful place, seeing the water, seeing the mountains, things like that, where I'm literally stopped dead in my tracks and so overcome with just overwhelming gratitude and like thankfulness. But then it hits me and it's always this statement in my head that I can hear saying so clearly, I could have missed this. And I think that's always what I come back to in those moments where I'm so happy and grateful, is that voice always plays and it always reminds me, I could have missed this. I could have missed seeing this. I could have missed experiencing this. I could have missed feeling this. I could have missed reaching people with this. Like, that is always the most humbling, like bring you back down to earth moment when I hear that voice in my head say, I could have missed this. And it's always just like, so, oh my God, like realizing how much I still had to do and how much I still had to live and that it could have all been gone. And for anyone listening to this that's struggling with any addiction, I want you to think about the life ahead of you and think about all the things you haven't done yet and all the things you haven't seen yet and all the things you haven't felt yet and experienced yet. And reminding yourself of that question that I remind myself of so often, that sobering voice saying, I could have missed this. And thinking about the things that you could miss and thinking about the things that you might not get a chance to experience if you don't change your life. The people that will miss you if you don't change your life. The parent that will lose a child, the friend that will lose a friend, the spouse, the child that will lose a mother. Like, these are the sobering thoughts that if someone is watching this and they're not sober or they're struggling or they're not sure if they can commit to sobriety, these are the things I want you to really sit with after you watch this. Like, think about I would have missed this voice that could pop up in your head and the things that it would be telling you could have missed and the things that you would take away from other people and the things that you would just lose and the life that would be gone and taken for granted. That's something I 1,000,000 times every single day I'm grateful. I pray. I thank the universe, God, higher powers, anyone else out there listening. Constantly. I'm constantly thanking them that I'm here and I'm alive. And every time I get that feeling of I could have missed this, I literally whisper right back to that voice in my head and I say, thank you, God, for this moment. I still to this day say it all the time. When I'm in a moment and something's beautiful and it hits me, I literally say in my own head, like, thank you, God, for this moment. Because I know I could have missed it. So 5 years has really brought me a lot of peace. I think if I had to use one word to kind of wrap it up besides the gratitude I spoke about in the beginning, would just be peace and feeling more at rest than I ever have with my sobriety and how my life has changed. Feeling more peace with the trauma from my past and the things I had to live through and endure. Feeling more at peace than ever with sharing all of my story because I know it can help people. And I I do want to say, like, I came into this weekend and there's always like a few things I do. I reached out to an ex of mine that I was with over a decade ago. I was 21 years old, and to put it into perspective for you guys, our sobriety dates are about a year apart. He hit 5 years last year, and I'm hitting 5 years this year, and we reach out to each other on our milestones and just check in and congratulations, I'm hitting this milestone. How are you? We don't speak other than that. That's really it. But that was one of my first glimpses of really bad addiction, was two people together with it. So I always reach out to that person, but I do want to say something this year with the peace, with what I wanted, with what I was, I wanted to feel, was there was a very close friend of mine, one of my best friends back then, that she was the one at the hospital with me when no one else was there. And I just to wrap it up nicely, like, we grew apart. Obviously I got sober. She was a part of that lifestyle I was in before. So we grew apart. We weren't in the same place anymore. We were, I was changing my life completely, and, hers wasn't changing the same way, which happens with a lot of friendships. And we definitely grew apart. We definitely were selfish and lashed out and, acted in ways that maybe we shouldn't have acted, and said things we shouldn't have said. And it suddenly hit me the other day when I was going back through those old videos and those old posts and realizing that that person had been there for me through so much. And I was sad, and I literally reached out to this friend that I haven't talked to in years, and I apologized for my part in it. And I was like, I've thought about sending this for years on and off. Like, I've wanted to reach out to this person so many times, and I don't know what it was about 5 years, this full acceptance, this peace. I was like, I need that peace too. And so, not to get into too many details, but I can tell you guys, like, literally yesterday I reached out to that person and I apologized, and I spoke from the heart, and I was real and vulnerable and honest. And I was like, I miss you and the friend that I had before all of this, and, all these things. And we literally were up until 1 a.m. messaging just like old times. And it's something very full circle for me. And I don't know if it's just coincidental that it happened around 5 years, but I've gotten a friend back. And I think that's one of the coolest things coming into this year too, is that, there was so much hurt, there was so much change, there was so much growth, to kind of come full circle now and talk to that person again and have that friend again. And it's just brought a whole nother aspect of peace to me, because I think I held on to a lot of resentment there, and I had lashed out on a lot of people that when I changed in my life, I felt left out. I felt left behind with things, and realizing, like, we've both grown, we've both changed, and now as adults we're friends again, and it's really freaking cool. So if there's one thing I can leave you guys with, I'm so grateful. I am so much at a level of peace that I've never experienced before, and I'm sure I say it every year, and I'm sure I'm gonna say it next year, that I'm not sure how things can get better, and then I say how they do. But for anyone out there, like I said, no matter where you are at with sobriety or any addiction, if you're thinking about it, I want you guys to really think about the things I've communicated in this message today. And I want you guys to see the life I've been able to create and the level of peace I am at, and asking yourselves, what are the things you would have missed? Because I still give thanks for them every single day. I really do. I still get caught in those moments, like I said, and I say thank you for this moment, because I'm so grateful for those moments that I could have missed. And I want you guys to really think about those and sit with it and think about it, and think about, what you need to do in your life if you're at that crossroad. So if you are in the sober community, if you want to connect more, if any of this is resonating with you, I have a number of places you can do that. We have a group on Facebook called Slaying Sobriety. We have over 10,000 women in that group right now. all at different areas of sobriety. Some are just starting out, some are years sober like I am. That's a great community for support. I encourage you to come find us. I'll have links to these things down in the show notes on YouTube and on iTunes if you are listening to the podcast. But I have that incredible group if you are a woman looking for support. My books are on Amazon and Kindle. I got a couple of them right here, but this was the baby that started it all. This baby is 3. I put this out on my 2-year sober anniversary, so this baby's turning 3. The anniversary of my first book. All my books are on Amazon and Kindle. I have 9 self-published pieces now, you guys. If my sobriety has done anything, it really made me fall in love with writing that first book and writing all the other books now. I have a lot of sobriety books. I have personal development books you guys can check up on. I talk about the podcast. On my podcast, I talk about sobriety a lot. I have all the things, you guys. So if you want to connect, if you need help, if you need support in any way, feel free to comment. Feel free to reach out on Instagram. I am on Instagram so daily, like all the time. Feel free to reach out via email, anything you guys need. That's my purpose of my job now, is just showing up for the people that need inspiration, that need help, that need support, that need to see someone doing what they don't know if they can do, to see that it's possible. I am so honored and grateful to be able to be that for you guys still. And yay for 5 years, you guys. This is such a huge milestone. I'm making a 5-year cake with my husband, Andrew. We're gonna celebrate with a cake. And it's been a little different because we're in coronavirus. I planned on going on some kind of trip for this to celebrate, but obviously we're stuck at home because of coronavirus and COVID-19, so it's been interesting. But I just want to thank you guys for being a part of this today and being invested in my journey and following me and this long road. And if you've been there since the beginning, Lord bless you, because it's been a long 5 years, but a beautiful 5 years. And I'm so grateful for all of your support and just being there for me through it all 24/7. It's something I'm so grateful for, and I just only hope I can return that much love and support and light to you guys in return. So with that being said, I will catch you guys next time. I love you guys so much. Bye guys.